to meet their mentor, confidant, and friend. Big Brothers Big Sisters needs your help to erase the wait list and bring joy to young hearts. Student, professional, or retiree, you have what it takes to be a mentor. Share your wisdom, your experiences, and your dreams with a child. Imagine the impact you can make by dedicating just 1 hour a week to mentoring a child. Please, join our incredible team of mentors in changing lives, one child at a time. Together, we can ensure that every child has a mentor. Visit bigsupnorth.com to join us today.
It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show presented by the Bill Marsh Auto Group on Up North Sports Radio. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And joining us right out of the gates at 10 o'clock is the head coach of the McBain Ramblers, Bruce Copeman. And Bruce, a really tough loss just the other day in the semifinals against a really good Niles Brandywine team. But overall, Coach, you guys had a tremendous season.
Oh, absolutely. First, I apologize. I'm a little hoarse here today, but it's a great season. I think anytime you get to play in the Final Four, I mean, that's outstanding. And it just speaks volumes to the kids and the work ethic they have and the time they put into this and the dedication and the resilience they showed. Just proud of my team.
Yeah. And, Coach, this team may have surprised you a little bit. I think early in the season you mentioned in your post-game interview that, you really didn't know what you had this year, but they really came together and really maybe surprised you a little bit, but came together at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the advantages of doing this for so long is you kind of see maybe the MO of what a team, like what the DNA needs to look like a little bit, or maybe you just get maybe a better way to say it is you have this picture in your mind. And early on, I just didn't see like all the components that I thought we needed, or maybe that, I don't know what it was, something felt like it was missing. And then we kind of hit a little lull in the season there with a loss to Hamtramck and a tough win against Traverse City St. Francis. But boy, since that point, they just really locked in, they focused, and when we got in the tournament, they took it to a whole nother level. We recommitted to playing great defense and rebounding, and we just believed in each other.
Yeah, Coach, we saw that Hamtramck game, and we'd had some scouting reports, but hadn't seen the team. And I'll be frank, I walked away like going, this team's got some problems, and not just because Hamtramck is a pretty high athletic team, but it looked like the kids were had a deer in the headlights look in that game, but Benzenberg, when I was watching it with him, he goes, "Well, you're going to see a much better team here." He knew that was just a bump in the road, and it turned out to be absolutely true.
Well, yeah, I knew we were better than what we put on that day, and we'll make no excuses for it. Credit again to the kids for like redirecting themselves, recommitting to what we do here at McBain, and like I said, just bringing back the focus and the work ethic and the commitment. And again, I can't say enough. We took a few punches throughout the tournament, and it was no easy road. I mean, we had to go to Benzie and play our district at Benzie and beat a very good Benzie team at Benzie. And then we had to play Sanford Meridian, who was just as capable as ourselves to get there. And then it was just a chaotic, intense high school game against Menominee. But every time we got punched, these guys just found another step to take it to. Meridian got it to 1 in the fourth quarter, and we responded. Menominee hit us a couple times, we responded. And even Thursday, Brandywine took a 1-point lead in the fourth, and we responded again. So credit to these guys. I'm just so proud of them.
Right. Now, Coach, obviously, you're going to lose some players. You lose the one big kid, obviously, but also that freshman that you brought up this year who's got some height to him, he really impressed me in that semifinal game.
Yeah, he's come on. Boy, he's stepped up, and we talked about that as the regular season was in and the tournament was running. We talked about anytime that in the past we've ever made a deep run in the tournament, you had to have guys that rise up. Maybe it's for a game or maybe it's for 2 games. I can share a lot of stories there over the years, but yeah, he took it to another level. I think a few kids that kind of flew under the radar. Carson Murphy did a phenomenal job as well. Clayton Engelwright hit some great shots against Sanford and against Menominee. Big threes that we needed. And Nate Cucci is, there's a kid that's 5'9" and just gives you every single thing he's got. Always was, usually he was just up against someone that was a little bigger, but that didn't mess with him. And again, the 2 leaders, I can't say enough about Ben Rodenbaugh and Evan Haverkamp.
Yeah.
Just two tremendous leaders. And the kid that just continues to not get the credit I think he deserves is Ben Rodenbaugh. Just phenomenal.
Coach, either of them looking to play at the next level?
That's a subject maybe for another day, but
I'm sorry.
Evan Haverkamp. No, it's not. I don't mean it that way. I just mean Evan Haverkamp. You have this 6'9", legitimately 6'9" kid with great hands, great footwork, a great passion for the game, and I can't hardly get anybody to look at him. I think it's a lot like what happened with Wyatt Nausatis last year at TC St. Francis. It's just that thing. I don't know if people just don't think we can play basketball in Northern Michigan or what. But tell me who doesn't need a 6'9" kid that can play like that?
He's got a great basketball body too. I mean, I was jealous.
Yeah.
I was 6'7" and a lot thinner than that, and I had an opportunity to play at the next level. And I'm like, this kid has got a legit college basketball body, and his footwork is, pretty good for his size, and he gets up and down the floor a little bit. We should have switched this interview, Rich. We just got off the phone with Greg Campy, who I know a little bit, and he's recruited some kids up here. So I think I'll send him a note, and so you should send him some tape because Greg doesn't care about that at all.
Right.
Yeah, I know him a little bit. But it's tough, and then, that was one of the nice things about getting to the Final Four is maybe there was a few people, it opened a few people's eyes. And then for Ben Rodenbaugh, nothing yet. I just think he's going to take it to it. This tournament run, I think, just built his confidence, and I think you're going to see him really emerge next year. And then Clayton Hooker, he's still a freshman, but I'm sure he's opening a few eyes along the way. So, just real quick on that point, it's very frustrating. And I talk to a lot of coaches here in Northern Michigan, and there's a lot of great players up here and just great kids. And it's hard. It's so hard to get people to recognize that.
I know, Coach. I mean, and they all do I'm sure all of those kids played travel ball and went to AAU circuit, Grand Rapids, Indianapolis, Metro Detroit, all those. Yeah, so, it is kind of wild there with all the exposure that these kids get that certainly back when I played, we didn't have any of that.
Oh, quit your whining. Like you were going to play next level.
It was about the heart. It's about the heart. When you're 5'8", it's about the heart.
Yeah. A lot of 5'8" kids playing D1 basketball.
Oh, I didn't say D1. I wasn't delusional.
Yeah.
So
go
ahead.
The other thing about these kids is, and I'm not knocking anybody, but there's like my 2 guys there, Haverkamp and Rodenbaugh. I mean, such high character kids and such good academic kids. Like who wouldn't want these kids? So
the switching gears just a little bit, Coach. Did everybody in McBain go to the game? I mean, you guys had hundreds and hundreds of fans at the Breslin. Maybe they just like going to the Breslin. It's a nice facility.
Yeah, every time we've gone down there, and this year was no exception. I mean, nothing against anybody else that was there, but I mean, we by far had more people there than any of the other 3 teams that were playing yesterday, and they were loud and they were supportive. They within like 2 hours on Wednesday morning, they had raised enough money for a charter bus. Wow. We had enough food on the bus going down to feed an army. Yeah, it's great. It's a privilege to be here and coach here for sure.
No, Coach, it's that Hoosiers effect.
Yeah, the Hickory, the whole team, the entire town is following.
It is. I watch that movie, man, and I hear about these small towns going on and people following them through. It's incredible, Coach.
Yeah, it sure is, and like I can't say enough. Our community is outstanding, as are many small communities that that lie here in northern Michigan for sure.
Coach, I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but I've had this conversation with a few people in the last couple of weeks, and just want to point out how it's doubly difficult to win a state championship in basketball as it is in football. Why we don't have 8 divisions in basketball like we do in football is beyond puzzling to me. And so making the run that your team made, and when you guys do get to Breslin, it's just that much more difficult than, the higher profile football sport that we have in the state of Michigan. So, I just like pointing that out.
Yeah, I said to someone the other day, if we were playing today, excuse me, that would have been 8 games, and it would have been 9 had we played the first round of districts.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been 8 games in 3 weeks. I mean, it's a whirlwind.
Yep.
And I know my players are exhausted, physically, emotionally. I'm exhausted. Doesn't help that I'm getting a little older either. But I won't speak about football. That's their own thing. But it has been brought up a few times over the years. I've had surveys sent to me, maybe 8 teams, maybe 8 divisions, maybe 6 divisions, and yeah, people that are higher up will make those decisions, and I am kind of a traditionalist though, so I guess I'm not too upset about it really, but anyway.
Yeah, but no, I get it, Coach. What is the enrollment there at McBain?
I think we set around 320, 325.
Okay.
So yeah, we're not huge.
Right now.
So, Coach, you all plans to return next year?
We'll say yeah right now. I got to do some thinking over spring break coming up here in another week, and it's the last few years has just been kind of that way. I need to kind of reevaluate things. I don't want to be the guy who stays too long, although I think 30 years has been pretty good. And there's a few other things that may play into it as we go forward here, but right now I would say yeah. There's a lot of people wanting me to return, and I respect that ultimately, but I just got to really evaluate some things for sure. So
yeah. Now, Coach, I don't know if you keep track, but the win total that you've had in your 30 years, where are you at?
Well, we're just counting boys. What did they tell me? There's 549, and girls. Girls, I'm around, I think, 280 something. I really couldn't tell you.
Well, you've got to already be You've got to already be in the High School Hall of Fame, right, Coach?
Yeah, I went in a year ago in the fall.
Yeah, okay.
A year ago last fall, and that was bittersweet. And it's so blessed. But, man, you don't want me speaking in public about myself. I'm not good about it. So.
Oh, you got to get on this side of the mic, Coach. It gets a lot easier.
It is, man. Got a perfect record right here, Coach. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I like the other day we lost. I get emotional. It's not good. I wish I could do better, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and obviously a very tough way to lose.
Yeah.
A game. In some instances, maybe it's better to get blown out than to get nipped. At least you can start wrapping your head around it and have an idea what you're going to say to the team when you get into the locker room and that kind of stuff.
If you don't, I'll just say a thing here. Someone asked me that after the game, and I absolutely nothing. I don't want to be rude or nothing, but I'd rather lose a tough one than get blown out. We haven't gone down there 5 times now. 2 of those times we didn't perform well, and that was hard because your team is better than that, and it, so as hard as it is to lose like that, I'd rather lose like that than get beat up.
Okay.
No, that's fair.
No, well, Bruce, we really appreciate you joining us here. I know this is our last show of the year, so go to spring break, enjoy your time, and we hope personally that you come back to the McBain Ramblers and coach again.
All right. Well, if I do, I'll look forward to checking in with you guys once in a while. And again, I just want to say thanks for all your support and kind of like letting people know a little bit about McBain basketball.
Okay, Coach, and if you decide to hang it up, we've got a spot for you here to do some analysis.
The one thing I think about, what will I do when I don't coach? And I think I would just like pick a game or so a week. Maybe it's in Grand Rapids, maybe it's in Northern Michigan. Just go watch. And no pressure there. I've never lost a game sitting up in the crowd for sure.
Well, maybe you put on the officials. The MHA.
Oh no. No, I've kind of evolved in my coaching career. I hope. Early on, I was a little bit one of those intense guys, and then over the last few years, I hope I've regained some respect there a little bit. I have all the respect in the world for what they do and helping the game to keep moving forward. So, not going there, no.
Okay. All right. Best of luck, Bruce.
Thanks, guys, very much.
You bet.
Take care.
Yeah, Bruce Coltman of the McBain Ramblers joining us here on the Scoreboard Show.
Yeah, nice to have him after, I don't know if he would have taken our call yesterday.
Right. That's exactly right. Well, I sent the text to him, and he read it yesterday, but didn't respond until 8 o'clock this morning. Because it was probably hard. Because
it is hard.
The way that game went, they were up by 2, and someone did get boxed out, and the kid missed the open shot from 15 feet for Brandywine. And then the offensive rebound came in and put the putback right at the buzzer, and it went to overtime when it probably shouldn't.
I know.
Heartbreaking.
I know all about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was just, and he's replaying that play.
I mean, if it had been 4 years later, Kevin Smith's shot would have been a 3-pointer and we win the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I had already fouled out of the game, and the first play in overtime, Magic got fouled, and he missed the free throw. And the guy that was subbed in for me didn't block out on the free throw. They get a bucket and then steal the ball, and we're down 4 in the overtime, and it never recovered after that. And then Kevin Smith fouled out, and the game was over.
Was this in the semis or
no,
in
that's the finals?
Final game.
Yeah, we lost to Magic Johnson's team in the state finals in 1977 in Chrysler Arena.
Yeah.
We played the weekend before against Catholic Central at State. They had split it. So the semifinals were at the old, the hell was the name of the old Michigan State gym? Jennison, right. So we played Jennison Fieldhouse because there was a week in between the semifinals and the finals. Now.
Oh, wow. So not like what they do now.
Yeah. Which is smarter because you got teams traveling from all over the place.
Exactly.
But, that whole week was so intense.
Sure.
I mean, we had, all these kids we were getting recruited, the seniors. They had people at our practices. That week of practice, Coach Norton brought in Dick Vitale and the UAD Titans.
Wow.
And we scrimmaged that Tyler Long Do-Rod team.
Yeah,
And
Terry
they murdered us. It was embarrassing. Like, I remember getting out on the wing, and I had a wide-open 15-footer from the baseline, which was my set shot, and Tyler comes flying out of nowhere, pins the ball against the wall, comes off the wall, he grabs it, and they start their own fast break. And we're like, what is going on?
Someone get the number of that?
And then, yeah, and then, after the practice is over, we're the players are hugging us, and good luck and everything else. And we're all in the locker room going, why did we have to endure this?
Coach, is there a method to this madness, Coach?
And he goes, trust me, even Magic is not as good as any of those guys.
Right. At that time, no.
But I think we lost 84-9 or something.
Well, humbling
that was the week between, in every afternoon, Don Shane or one of the other guys who were doing the sports then were in there interviewing us.
Right.
And it was crazy.
And maybe the coach was saying these guys are maybe feeling themselves.
It might have been.
Maybe you know how that goes.
Might have been. It was just.
We need to send a message.
It's a week that I remember.
Sure.
So very well. And then what Coach was saying, and then you lose. When you didn't expect to lose, even though everybody predicted that we would get our asses handed to us.
Guys were buying.
Well, you don't go to the final game and figure you're going to lose.
Well, this has been a good.
Yeah, it's been good.
No, you're there.
Good job.
You go to win.
Yeah.
No matter.
I mean, the front page of the Free Press Sports section was a caricature, a drawing of Magic Johnson and Kevin Smith holding a basketball. It was like 2/3 of the page. I mean, that's how big that game was, and it was the first televised basketball game, high school basketball game in the state of Michigan.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, amazing.
There you go. That's why I talk about it all the time, folks. I'm sorry.
All good. All right, when we come back, we'll have Pat Schultz from the Lady Snowbirds talk about their game in the regional final. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by the Bill Marsh Auto Group on Up North Sports Radio.
The weather is brought to you by Consumers Energy. Count on Consumers Energy to lead the clean energy transformation, ensuring you access to reliable, affordable energy that will protect natural resources for generations to come. Learn more at consumersenergy.com/clean energy. Count on Consumers Energy.
I'm Doppler 9 and 10 Chief Meteorologist Tom O'Hare. Today's forecast featuring the clouds out there, some spotty rain showers or snowflakes at times, but for many, it's a dry day, but windy. Winds turn to the northwest at 10 to 25 miles per hour. High temperatures, they'll be in the 40s and 50s, but with that wind, it's going to feel a whole lot colder. Tonight, some pockets of snowflakes, especially across the UP. Low temperatures in the 20s to low 30s, and lake effect snow showers around for Sunday. High temperatures 30s. By Monday, at least some sunny breaks, but still a little lake effect. Temperatures drop off 20s and 30s. Wind chills certainly down in the teens, and getting a little better for Tuesday with temperatures in the 30s. I'm Doppler 9 and 10 Chief Meteorologist Tom O'Hare.
Hi, this is Bill Marsh Jr. Introducing the new eMarsh custom purchase experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh makes car buying fast and easy. Choose your vehicle and options, get an accurate trade-in value, calculate your monthly payment choices, and apply for credit. You can even schedule at-home or at-work test drives and deliveries. Start your eMarsh experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh. Welcome to easy. And thank you.
The Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best 2024 Reader's Choice Contest is now open. Nominate your favorite businesses, organizations, and professionals in Northern Michigan to earn them well-deserved recognition as Simply the Best. You can nominate once daily in each category now through Friday, May 10th. Our 2023 Simply the Best broke records with more than 14,500 nominations and more than 26,000 votes. Support your favorites and help them stand out above the rest. Nominate at record-eagle.com/simplythebest.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, presented by the Bill Marsh Auto Group on Up North Sports Radio. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And there's actually some finals going on real quick.
He'll be on right now.
Momentarily.
Good morning, Coach.
Hello.
Coach, hi. We're on the radio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
Doing good there. Coach, you have a very young team. I was able to watch you in the regional final game against Frankfurt, and you guys got off to a heck of a start, but then the Frankfurt train got rolling down the tracks and just couldn't be stopped.
Well, there's something to be said about size and strength. And we learned that. And, I knew coming in, having watched them play a couple games, kind of knew what we were in for, but like you said, we got off to a good start, but there's just, the first half actually wasn't a bad first half, but I mean the second half we kind of weren't able to slow them down. Slowing that big girl down when you're giving up 50, 75 pounds to someone, and we're fronting and got someone in help, and they're still able to get it into her. She's still able to score. I can't commit more than two people to one person, or it really kind of throws off what you're trying to do with the half-court and defense. So, you know what? Like you said, they're young. We will hopefully grow and get better. Actually, I just got out of the gymnasium, and with the team, I always do exit interviews every year. So, we talk to our one senior who's leaving and talk to the rest of them about, where we're at, where we go, what it's going to look like. So it was good. It's a sad day when you lose some kids, but the program's still going in the right direction, so I'm happy.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, you're only losing one player, isn't that right?
Yep, Miriam Morrell is our only senior. She's going down to Oakland University to run cross country. So I mean,
awesome.
Although on the offensive end, she didn't put a bunch of numbers up in the scoring column, but she was always around the rim for us. And defensively, especially in the fall, we are going to really struggle to find someone that had her energy and mobility and gas tank. I mean, I don't know that we're going to. I mean, she's a Division I runner, so I don't know that we're going to replace that. So we are going to have to, hopefully everyone get in a little bit better shape, everyone learn their responsibilities just, that much better. Miriam fixed a lot of mistakes on defense for us with her wheels. I mean, just no other way to say it.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, those cross-country runners, they're a different breed. I mean, they just, like you said.
They're stupid.
They go out there, and they like running. And it's just, but they, like you said, they're Energizer bunnies. They can just, no matter how hard you work in practice,
I
they'll
think that
go.
should be outlawed.
I tell you, it's again, I wasn't quite built for that sport, but I have the utmost respect for people who run any kind of distance, just because it just ultimately, right from the get-go becomes a battle with yourself and your mind. You're hearing those voices and the way they're able to block it out, because it's going to hurt. I mean, there's just no way that you can run at that level, and it's going to hurt. And for them to be able to push through that, I mean, we talk about that so much in our basketball program. It's just about that mindset. It's going to suck. Just get your mind around it, and you got to find a way to continue to execute and do things, even though you're going to be miserable. And that's, I use Miriam as an example so much this season and today with the kids. Like, you want to get something accomplished, ask Miriam. She might not know anything about what you're trying to do, but I guarantee she has the mindset that will allow you to do that. And so, I have the utmost respect for runners. They are as mentally tough as they come.
Yeah, we used to have a saying, embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Coach,
that's a fact.
We didn't really get a lot of news. The last time we talked to you, you were prepping for Mayo.
Right.
And I know they have that gal who's the all-time leading scorer in freshman history.
Maya McGregor,
yeah. Tell us how that game went down. Obviously, you were victorious.
Well, I mean, she is everything everyone says she is. She's a scorer. I mean, she's a flat-out scorer. She has a real good body for a freshman kid that's big enough. She understands how to use the basketball. She understands how to use her body, getting to the rim. Completely understands how to get to the free throw line, knocks them all down. I mean, I don't know her numbers exactly, but, I'd say close to half her, points, or close to half, had to have been from the free throw line. She gets it. She knows exactly what she needs to do. She knows how to finish under pressure, in contact. She knows how to get the free throw line.
Wow. How did you win?
She's the real deal.
Yeah.
How did you win?
Well, we scored 3 more points, whatever it was, 4 more points. We just, we had, I give my kids a lot of credit. I mean, I told them if we tried to do this, if we tried to match them every possession down, we weren't going to be able to, because we just don't have that. We're so young. We don't have that kind of offense. But that night, we had Kaylee step up and get 28 or 29, and Peyton had 17 or 19, and other kids, kind of pitch in here and there. So I definitely, when you're playing a kid like that, it has to be a team effort on both sides of the ball. I mean, you hope she misses a couple. And she, we got lucky and she missed a couple. We really had to force her to shoot some threes, because when she gets downhill, A, she's going to get fouled. B, she's probably still going to make it, and she's going to hit her free throws. And then C, we don't have enough kids to stay in the game if she fouls us all out. I mean, I've only got like 6 kids on the dang team, and if so I'm like, we gotta go under a bunch of screens, which is not my deal up top. I don't like going under anything. But we got to go under it. If she beats us shooting 25-footers, then they deserve to win. And we just got lucky, and she missed just enough of them that we were able to squeak out with a win.
Well, it sounds like maybe her performance inspired a couple of your scorers, Coach. Every once in a while you see that. If she can do that, I can do that.
Right. I'll agree with you there. I think they know that she's she's pretty special, that they're not gonna go shot for shot with her. But I mean, I was really, more than anything, whether that game had ended up in a loss for us, however it would have ended up, our girls, that was one of our better games collectively, just to be engaged on both sides of the ball, keep our mistakes down a little bit, and just, I was more proud of that. I mean, we had young kids stepping up and doing just a little bit more than they were used to doing, but it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like we were kind of out of control as much as we usually are. I mean, I was proud of them that game. I think they knew what they were up against, playing against a team like that with a kid like that who can find people. When she's being double or triple, she can still find people. That was kind of a little of a watershed game for us, for this young group. And I understand the next game didn't go our way, but, you kind of have to have the long lens, or I'm trying to have the long lens when you're dealing with the team that I have, at ages that I have. And I don't usually say that. I'm not I'm more about like right now, results right now kind of a guy, but I'm trying to play the long game, with this group, because I think there's some talent there. I think there's some want to. So we just gotta, try to do the right things with them over the summer and in the fall, and hopefully pick up right where we left off, next November.
Right. And Coach, you talked about your youth, the times that we've had you on the show, and until you see it in person, like I did the other night, and then see the roster, actually, when you have not a single junior, one senior, the rest are sophomores, freshmen, and 8th graders, it just really puts everything in perspective.
It does. We play our summer schedule. We try to play as good a teams as we can play, and we had a fairly good summer. I mean, we didn't win them all, but we had a fairly good summer. So there were, real high expectations for this year going in, and summer ball is different than in the season with the reffing and things like that. And so we were really high coming into the season, and I learned a lot about myself as a coach and just about how to handle kids this year. It didn't go in the middle of the season or towards the end of the regular, kind of the way we wanted it to go. But I saw some kids do some things in the postseason and take some ownership and some responsibility of stuff. And, when you're way back in the summer and you say, I know we're going to be young, but it'll be okay. But then when you're actually in the middle of it in a season, it feels a lot different. So I was proud of the way they kind of finished things there towards the end. And just today, actually, talking to kids during our exit interviews, collectively and individually. I think the program is in a good place. I think these kids understand what it takes for us to do what we have to do and to be, who we want to be as a team and individually. So, I'm excited to see where it goes. I encourage them all to do something in the spring that resembles nothing of basketball. Go play something else, do anything else.
Yeah.
Decompress, and then we will do what we do in the summer, and hopefully we can move the needle a little bit in the good direction next year.
Well, no issues with that at St. Mary's, Coach. Almost all those girls are playing softball or they're doing something else, and the same thing with volleyball. So that's the makeup of the athletes at St. Mary's. I remember when my son Joe was there, and he was in theater on top of playing football and everything else, and we were worried about the girls and how far they would go in the basketball tournament, because some of those girls not only were playing basketball, but they're starring in the play.
Yeah.
They definitely they they have a master's degree in multitasking by the time they get out of St. Mary's.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Like you said, it's the nature of the beast. We would not have a single sport if you just relied on girls who only focused on that sport. We would have no sports for women at St. Mary's because it's just not. We don't have the numbers. We just don't have those kids that are just dialed into one sport. They want to be with their friends and they explore other interests, and I think it's great. I think cross training and doing other things, whatever it is, takes your mind off of this grind. We go at basketball pretty hard, and we demand a lot of those kids. So anytime they can get away and do anything else to just to kind of free their minds up a little bit and their bodies, I'm for it. I'm 100% for it.
Yeah.
And it's the same kids, the Morrell family and the Markowitz family and the Jeffers and the Switalskis. It's just it's just the legacy of that school and the athletic, especially on the basketball side of things, Coach. You know very well how well the program is done, and maybe this sophomore class might be the one that breaks through all the way.
Well, I've been I think I've been to 8 quarterfinals, and I'm yet to get that right. Trophy. I really, I don't want to turn it into a me thing, but I mean, I know these girls, and actually we're talking about it today. A lot of them weren't even around when I was sitting on the first couple benches, but they were around for some of the last ones, and they're, they would love, just like you said, they would love to move this program, one step further. Yep. And there's only one way to do it. We've never had that kid, that we could say, well, she's always going to get us 30. We got to find a way to get 20, 25 more. It takes a village with us, and it always has. Yeah. And this group knows that. So, I would love to see it. I mean, I stand by it 100%. We get more out of what we have than any school that we play. We're gifted with some athletes, but every team we play, every game of the year, I see athletic kids on the other side that are just as athletic or more athletic than we are. So my hat's off to the kids for allowing themselves to be coached the way we coach them, and giving us what they give us. And I think this group knows they have a chance. Maybe, if things fall in place, you got to have a little luck in there.
Yep.
But if things fall in place, they could raise the bar, for our program, which would be great. I mean, they worked hard, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Coach, Pat Schultz from Gaylord St. Mary's, you had another good year, another district championship, made it to the regional finals. We appreciate you joining us here on the Scoreboard Show.
Hey, thank you very much. I love talking to you guys. You do a great job.
All right.
Thank you, Coach. We'll be back with you next fall.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I hope so.
All right. Best of luck. Pat Schultz of the Lady Snowbirds. Once again, JC, their youth is just unbelievable, and it's just growing. I think it's a great future.
Well, obviously, without even a junior on the program.
Yeah.
And some 8th graders, and I know, that it's just, it's a lifestyle, because the St. Mary's High School is part of the grade school, so there's not really a differentiation. The same kids are walking through the halls, and there's like an admiration that you see, like the 6th graders looking up. We hear this from all the coaches, like Little Mites football and all the other stuff that happens. And he's finally going to find, I don't know what happened to my camera, but thank God. Don't put my face up there, JJ. But no, the St. Mary's is something special. Like, everybody plays everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's such a close-knit group, and you have to be when you have, 100 kids going to the school?
Whenever I'm in Gaylord, and I swear to God, and then we'll get moving on, but somebody will come up to me and go, how's Joe? Not hey, like, right. Hey, what's Joe doing?
Exactly. They care.
Because they are invested. I mean, the archdiocese helps support the tuition, and the people go to mass, and they have the graduation at the church, and there's people that aren't related to anybody. But to show up to see these kids graduate.
Exactly, because their kid went to school there, and they just want to see the next group of kids coming
people
through.
that I don't even recognize.
Right.
And I'm like,
it's
how's
amazing.
Joe doing?
No,
I'm like,
that's amazing.
He's great. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Right. Well, we've never met, but I just knew.
I know Joe.
Yeah,
He's the biggest kid in the league for 2 years.
Yeah. So, all right. When we come back, we're going to have a special guest. Greg Campy from Oakland University is going to join us. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show presented by the Bill Marsh Auto Group on Up North Sports Radio.
Hi, this is Bill Marsh Jr. Introducing the new eMarsh custom purchase experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh makes car buying fast and easy. Choose your vehicle and options, get an accurate trade-in value, calculate your monthly payment choices, and apply for credit. You can even schedule at-home or at-work test drives and deliveries. Start your eMarsh experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh. Welcome to easy. And thank you.
There's a new player in town. Hi, I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking about Eagle Casino and Sports, the real money mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet, just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older in Michigan to play.
Are you planning a graduation party or other fun event? Two places in Gaylord are where fun and great food happen every day. The Party Patio at the Alpine Tavern and Eatery and the Alley at Crave are the perfect places to celebrate, with outstanding food that makes your mouth sing and a lively atmosphere. This is where family and friends come for a great time. Your home for Up North flavor is also the home to celebrate. Alpine Tavern and Crave in downtown Gaylord.
Welcome back to Up North Sports Radio here, 101.1. Jerry Coyne and Rich Calkins in studio with Coach Greg Campy from Oakland University. Coach, on the eve of making it into the tournament, how many visits will this be now, Coach, for you at OU?
This will be our fourth. In the Division I era, this will be our fourth trip to the NCAA tournament. We went 3 or 4 times in the Division II era too, but nobody cares about that. All they care about is this one, so it's 4.
Yeah. Coach, first of all, I want to know about your health. I notice a pretty healthy limp on the sidelines. Are you going to be able to suit up and make it for your first tournament game?
Man, I've got 2 fake knees and 2 fake hips, so who knows? I mean, they could give out at any time, but I feel good, man. I feel good. It's an exciting time here, and this is like the holy grail for our players. It's one of the top 3 sporting events in the world. I think this, the World Cup, and the Super Bowl, and so our kids have a chance to play in it. It'll be something the rest of their lives they'll be telling their families and kids and things like that. So it's awesome.
Yeah, talk about your team a little bit for those, I know most of the folks, especially listening here in Northern Michigan, probably have only seen you guys play twice the last 2 games in the Horizon League tournament, but you've got a really good, versatile squad.
Yeah, our strength all year has been our depth. And we don't have a true point guard, and at times that hurts us, but we started the season at Ohio State. We led for 36 minutes. And we got a bad call in the last minute, would have put us up 1. Instead, they got the ball out of bounds and made a 3 to beat us. And then 2 to 3 days, I've coached a lot of teams that can go one night into a Big Ten arena and win or play a great game and still not be a great team. But 3 nights later, we went to Illinois, and at Illinois in front of a full house, we were tied with 5 minutes to go. So I knew then that we had a chance to really be good. We went to Xavier and won, and then once we got started in league play, a different player steps up every time. I've got a great player, the kid that was, scored 38 in the championship games, MVP of the league and all that. Mm-hmm. But there are many nights that other guys step forward. I got a couple great shooters. I got DQ Cole, who can score with getting to the rim. We just have a great, versatile team, and our defense is really what has been our calling card all year. We play this goofy matchup zone that people have struggled with, so it's been great for us.
Yeah, Coach, one of those kids that you were talking about, Trey Townsend, with those 38 points and 11 rebounds, he's not the first Townsend, though, that you've coached.
Yeah, we have to get into how old I am now. Yeah, I coached his dad back in the late 80s. And his dad came from Anchorage, Alaska. He was the first recruit that I got in my coaching career from outside of the Midwest. And he was, a big kid that he started every game so he could get us to jump ball, but after that, it wasn't a whole lot he did for us. So I tell him all the time now, I said, you've turned out to be one of the greatest players I've ever coached because it wasn't what you did, it's who you brought me.
There you go. Yeah, he has got a really good basketball body and basketball mind, Coach, and it really turned it on in that final game.
Yeah, if you would see a picture of him when he got here and what he looks like now, he was about 6'5" and a half, 195 pounds when he got here. No Division I offers, and now he's 6'6" and a half, 235. I mean, he's a man.
Yeah, he is.
He just worked on his body and got in the weight room and worked, and he's gonna make a lot of money playing basketball now.
He reminds me a little bit of Adrian Dantley. He uses his body to get where he wants to go on the floor, and it doesn't seem that many people can actually keep him from getting where he wants to go.
I have a question for you. Besides me, how many people listening to this remember Adrian Dantley?
Well, the guy next to me.
Yeah, I'm old too, Coach.
Well, you got a lot of Piston fans that remember that, but see, I remember Dantley at Notre Dame.
Right, yeah.
And that's how Dantley played at Notre Dame, right? He had the greatest ass in history.
But it was a big one, boy. It was hard to get around after.
But yeah, and then the other thing, Coach, you got a couple of guys that can really light it up from the three-point line. Rich loves that.
Yeah.
Jack Golke's been just a blessing for us, and then Blake Lampman has really developed more from just a shooter into he's kind of our leader, and he's really good defensively, and I had him play some point guard this year, which when you saw him when he got here, no one would have thought he could ever play point guard at the Division I level, and he's been done a great job for us. So, and that's how you win. You get a bunch of kids that buy into what you're doing. They all care about each other. I'll tell you a quick story. There's about 5 minutes to go in that game, and we had blown a 7-point lead, and I think we were down 1. And there was a break in the action where something was going on at the scorer's table. You know how these referees, they always got to go to the scorer's table. And so we're standing there, and Blake Lampman grabs me and says, the ball's going to Townsend. It's got to go to him every possession, because he was killing it in there. And that type of leadership, and those kids, hey, this is their moment too. They're playing on national TV on ESPN to go to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
And they're sitting there, these shooters are sitting there saying, don't call plays for me, get the ball to Trey. That's the winning edge, and that's why we were able to win the thing.
Yeah, and speaking of ESPN, Coach, you got quite the headlines there with Scott Van Pelt on the Nightly Sports Center he started off the show with you and your team, and so you guys got some tremendous press as the one great thing that he saw that night. It was you guys winning the title and a little bit of history about you spending 40 years there in your loyalty to the program.
Yeah, Scott's a friend of mine. It always helps to have friends in high places, right?
It does, yes.
But, yeah, that's great for Oakland. And that's what this tournament does. I mean, for a week, I told our players, one of the things about being in the Horizon League is you win early in the week where a lot of the teams will win on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? They get one day to bask in the glory. Our guys are walking around campus. Everybody's telling them how great they are, going into restaurants and things like that. Everybody wants to take care of them. It's just an unbelievable week for them.
Yeah, Coach, but do you maybe see a detriment? That's a long time off. You guys are either going to play Thursday or Friday next week, and that's kind of a long time off from game action, don't you think?
Yeah, I do, except, and if we were in a Power 5 where we knew that we were in, like Michigan State didn't win the Big Ten tournament, but they know they're in, right?
Right.
And so I think for them, that long time off would be, for us, there's we needed the decompression of, every game that we played down that stretch. You lose, you're out.
Yeah.
You're done. And this great season we had, if we'd have lost to Milwaukee, would have been over. And so there's a decompression from that pressure, and some, 3 or 4 days off, I think, is really good. And then now you get back to the grind on Monday and the excitement of who we're playing, and that. Could it hurt us a little bit shooting? Yes, but I don't think, usually when you have those days off, you see a zap of your energy. And I just think there'll be too much adrenaline to do that to us. I hope I'm right.
Coach, I want you to dig back just a few years here. You recruited and had on your team Ty McGregor from Mayo, did you not?
Ty was at the last regular season game of the year with his family, and I guess his daughter's averaging about 350 points a game is what I heard. And so Ty was there, and then Ty and a couple of his teammates tweeted out a picture of them wishing us good luck in the in-state tournament. That's the cool thing about my job, is that these young men come through, and then they're like your family for the rest of your life. And Ty was a great, great player for us. I mean, he's a legend up there, and for him to still be connected to the program like he is, I think it's awesome.
Oh, it is, Coach. I mean, he won AP Coach of the Year last year in Division IV, and like you said, his daughter, just a freshman, and she's averaging 40 points a game already. So, I mean, it's just, it's like you said, it's so cool to see those kids going on and giving back to the community as well.
Is her nickname Pete Maravich?
She's going to be a legend. Let's just put it that way. Coach, so you projected what you guys are going to be a 14?
I'm hoping we sneak onto the 13.
Yeah.
If you look at all the criteria, like there's some teams that are being projected by, bracketology and that are 13s. But if you look at the true criteria that they want you to do, we actually should be ahead of those teams. So, for example, we have no quad 4 losses.
Okay.
Teams on the 13th seed line do. And one of the things we've been told over and over again is, if you want a high seed, you can't have quad 4 losses. We also have a quad 1 win.
Yeah.
We have a quad 2 win. So, those types of things that I don't see Lenardi taking into, so it's going to be interesting to find out. I'm really, really hoping that we can get to the 13 line, but at worst we'll be as a 14.
Yeah, it seems like there is a pretty big differentiation between the top 8 teams in the league, and then on that 3rd and 4th line, there's a little bit of a drop-off in talent.
Oh, yeah. There's a huge difference between the seed, being a 4 seed and being a 3 seed. A huge difference. So,
Coach, I want to shift gears a little bit, like you mentioned.
Ty McGregor.
Yeah, Ty McGregor from Miles. So you guys are no stranger to recruiting and finding some talent here in northern Michigan. But you guys used to be a D2 program, moved up to D1. From a high school playing perspective, what do you think is the difference between a kid that could go D1 or has to play D2?
Well, I think a lot of it is myth. It really is. A lot of people, they don't think you're athletic enough, or they don't think. Trey Townsend had no Division I offers, and he's the player of the year in the Horizon.
Yeah.
Blake Lappin, second team All-League in the Horizon League, had no Division I offers. I had a guy a few years ago named Keith Benson. He was the 38th pick in the NBA draft by the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
And he had no Division I offers. So it's
coaching.
What people perceive and what it is really not true. It's about opportunity.
Right.
It's about how hard you work. And it's about, I tell my team this every year, 4,000 times. Everybody wants to be great until they find out what they have to do to become great.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's the guys that can figure it out and are willing to do the things that you have to do are the ones that make it. And then we'll talk about, are you Division I or not, right? You need opportunity. You need a coach to give you a chance. But in this day and age of the transfer portal, you're going to see, like Jack Golke, this great shooter I have.
Right.
He played his first 4 years at Hillsdale. And nobody thought he's a Division I player, and he surely doesn't look like one. But we're not where we're at without him. I mean, he's made 116 threes this year for us.
Wow.
And, he got the he went Division II. He had a great career, and he got the opportunity to move up because of the transfer portal. So, I think this myth of Division I, Division II, I think it's really, the line's going to be blurred. And I think you're going to see more of that. And no kid should ever be pigeonholed into your Division III, your Division II. You know what? You're a college basketball player.
Right.
How hard you work, how much time and effort you put into it, how badly do you want to be great will determine what level you are.
Yeah, Coach, if you could expound upon that. I mean, obviously it's a little different at Oakland University as opposed to like Michigan State. But with NIL and transfer portal, I mean, I think that's part of the reason why we saw Coach K and some of these other Coach Wright hit the door. Like, this is just too much work now. I can't really be involved with my team because everybody wants money and they're hitting the portal. I mean, what do you see any type of fix for this?
No, they're going to have to fix it. I mean, it's not good. And me personally, I was the bitter old man when it first started happening. I lost a couple good players, and I just decided a lot of my generation, as you said, have gotten out. Some great coaches have gotten out. When John Beeline left Michigan, he got the opportunity to go to the pros because of it.
You're right.
And you just, okay, for me, now I've just accepted it, and I don't like it, but I've accepted it and tried to live within this world. But there's going to have to be a change. I think you saw this week Nick Saban went to Congress and talked about it.
Yes.
I think there's going to be some, because the NCAA can't enforce their rules because they get sued every time they try and enforce a rule. So what they have to do is we have to get through the governance which is crazy, but it's the only way it's going to happen. Through the governance, we're going to have to figure out how we wrap our arms around this. And I think what we're leading to, which I hate, but I think it's the only way to fix what's going on, is contractual. So I recruit Joe Smo from Mayo.
Right.
And I say, okay, you want a 1 year, a 2 year, 3 year, or do you want a 4 year deal? And then we sign a contract, and this is the amount of money that you're going to be able to make from the NIL or from the collective and that kind of stuff. We're going to pay you this amount of money from this. Obviously, Michigan's going to be able to pay somebody a hell of a lot more than Oakland because I don't have the money to pay them.
Right.
And then the kid signs the contract, and then there'll probably be a union. The kids will probably be in a union, and there'll be a collective bargaining for, the NCAA television rights. How much of that should go to the players, and how much of this should, and it's basically going to become a pseudo-professional sports instead of. And I tell you what's going to happen if all this goes down is there won't be swimming and diving and tennis and those kind of sports at the universities anymore because you just won't be able to afford it.
Yeah. No, that's sad, but yeah, that's the truth.
It is. Coach, I want to switch gears just a little bit. I know you're big into giving back to the community and everything like that, and earlier this month you were working the drive-thru at a local McDonald's. How many Shamrock Shakes were you pushing that day, Coach?
We sold a lot of them, but I'll tell you what, if you could have seen the look on this lady's face, she drove up, and she ordered a Big Mac. And I said, you got a Big Mac, right? She goes, yep. And I opened it up. I said, this? She goes, yeah. And I picked it up, took a bite of it, put it back in, and handed it to her. I said, man, that's good. You're going to like that. The look on her face. I had a ride.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. That is so awesome.
That is great.
I love it. Coach, thanks a lot. I know you got to head into practice, and so thanks for taking a couple of minutes to talk to a couple of idiots like ourselves. But we are so tied into what, let's get some wins. Let's make it to the second weekend. I'm sure that's the goal, right? We got to move forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not just happy to be there. I mean, it's fun and all that, but we're going there. Like I told our team in the locker room after we won, everybody's excited. I said, we're not done yet. This team's good enough. We are good enough to go win a couple games. And, it's just great that you had Oakland on today because, we're representing the state of Michigan now. I know state's in there too, but, everything we do will shine a good light on this state. So hopefully everybody up there will be cheering for us, and maybe we can make a splash.
Yeah, you got a lot of those ingredients, senior leadership. You got some inside and some outside, and there's every reason to believe that Oakland University is going to get some wins in this tournament. Coach Greg
Got to
Camp.
figure out the coaching, though.
Yeah.
So we just got to figure out the coaching. That old guy, he can't remember anything. So we can figure the coaching out. We'll be good.
Good thing you got great assistants.
That's exactly. Jeff Smith's a tremendous assistant. So
yeah.
If we win, it's all me, and if we lose, damn him. You know.
Greg Campy, best of luck. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up North Sports Radio.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right.
Best of luck, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Rich, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was. It was a great time. Greg came kind enough to join us here. He's a busy schedule.
Yep. That's going to call it a wrap for this season.
I know. We appreciate all of our guests that came on all year and our sponsorship with
Bill Marsh.
Bill Marsh and everything. And, looking forward to next August. Get rocking and rolling.
Looks that way. So thank you for joining us here on Up North Sports Radio. The Wings are at noon today, or 12:30, I believe, in a must-win game against the Buffalo Sabres. So you can hear that right here for free on 101.1. Thanks for joining us all year long here on the Bill Marsh High School Automotive Scoreboard Show.
Hi, this is Bill Marsh Jr., introducing the new eMarsh custom purchase experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh makes car buying fast and easy. Choose your vehicle and options, get an accurate trade-in value, calculate your monthly payment choices, and apply for credit. You can even schedule at-home or at-work test drives and deliveries. Start your eMarsh experience at BillMarsh.com. eMarsh, welcome to easy. And thank you.
The Traverse City Record Eagles Simply the Best 2024 Reader's Choice Contest is now open. Nominate your favorite businesses, organizations, and professionals in Northern Michigan to earn them well-deserved recognition as Simply the Best. You can nominate once daily in each category now through Friday, May 10th. Our 2023 Simply the Best broke records with more than 14,500 nominations and more than 26,000 votes. Support your favorites and help them stand out above the rest. Nominate at record-eagle.com/simplythebest.
Catch the Cash Squatch every Friday at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. From 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., punch it out until you match 3 like amounts. Hunt down the Squatch to double your prize amount and win up to $1,000 cash. At 10 p.m., one lucky winner will take home $5,000 cash. Only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
What makes Benetham so special is that it's cozy and friendly enough to be your neighborhood hangout and distinctive enough to host special occasions and celebrations every day. That's why so many in the North will tell you that Benetham's is their favorite. Even the half-off happy hour menu has a dozen unique appetizers and cocktails. Visit Benethams.com to make your reservation and enjoy a dining experience that is truly unique. Benetham's, for the true love of food.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, presented by Bill Marsh Automotive. Discover how easy car shopping can be. Join us next Saturday at 10 a.m. with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
Standing there. So, like, if the aisle seat across from me, because I'm a big aisle guy, personally. I just like having the ease of access.
We do well together. I like the window. I just can't be asked to get up a bunch of times. I used to be an aisle guy, and I had one flight that ruined it for me. It was a cross-country flight. Every time I fell asleep, the people inside of me, there was an old couple, and they had to go to the bathroom 5, 6, 7 times, and I said, I will never do this again, because I sleep like a baby on planes, bro. By the time the bird is in the air, your boy is conked out. I don't even hear the ding, when the air – because I sleep with a fan, or I'm like a white noise guy, and that's just natural airplane, like whatever that is. I am out. So I just don't want to be woken up. I don't want to be bothered. I don't need your peanuts. I don't need your tiny little thimble of Diet Coke. Everyone leave me alone. Get me where I'm going. I'm going to sleep. I don't want to be woken up. So I'm in the window. You can be in the aisle. We got a good thing going.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that because I'm the opposite. I cannot sleep on planes. But I feel like cramped if I were to be sitting in the aisle and the other person immediately gets up, because essentially what she's saying is you have to kind of fight for position there. There's only one spot there. There's 2 aisle seats on every plane. No matter what plane you're on, there's only 2 aisle seats. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like cramped, and this person all of their business, no matter what their body type is, all their business is essentially right by my face. Like whatever they got going on is now in my personal bubble. I know it's an airport, you're going to get kind of cramped up, but I don't love it when people get up immediately, especially if you're towards the back of the plane, because you have to wait for everybody in front of you to get off. So then you're just standing there all up in my face.
Totally. I mean, look, there's levels to this, right? I mean, the worst thing the worst offenders are the people that get up and try to advance forward. Like they should be jailed as far as I'm concerned. If you stand up and you're just standing next to your row, or you're grabbing your bag, or you're, kind of preparing to get off the plane, but in your own little area next to your seat, I don't like you, but I'm not willing to convict you of a crime. If you stand up and you start moving forward into another row, prison for an extended period of time.
Yeah. If you got a connecting flight, I hope you miss it. I hope you miss it, and I hope the people at the desk are not friendly.
My favorite thing is when you're the only person with a connecting flight. I've never been more sure. You're the only person who's going anywhere important. Yeah, we all just got on a plane and flew to another state today for no damn reason. None of us have anywhere to be. We're not going to funerals or weddings or checking into hotels or business meetings. I don't care what you